Hey, so Eric, so what's the best thing about the PlayStation? Is it the controller or the UI or what do you think?
Phew, man, that's tough. We've got don't sleep on the Pulse 3D headset either.
Wait a minute. This is the Nintendo Powercast, episode 297. What? No PlayStation talk. And sorry, guys, the intro music is no more. There will be a new song, an episode.
Maybe.
I think it's like the Link's Adventure. I think is the song. I wonder how many people knew that. It's Link's Adventure. So, yeah, episode 297. That music you just heard was from me humming. And this is an unofficial Nintendo podcast. Hey, you want to get my book for somebody for Christmas? n64josh.com/anothercastle. You want me to read you my book? You're in luck. n64josh.com/audible, and it's free if you've never signed up. If you have, it's like $5, so go pick it up. Satisfy Grip has been satisfying my urge to play handheld, and it's rad. So n64josh.com/switchgrip sends you on over to Amazon if you want to pick it up.
You know what else was satisfying?
What?
That plug you just gave for the Satisfy Grip.
Yeah, you like that?
I did.
Love it. So, lastly, guys, I'm creating. I think, you know what? When this show goes out, we're going to be able to hear, like, you know how when Alderaan blew up and Obi-Wan was like,
Millions of voices were just suddenly silenced.
Yeah, it's going to be the opposite when thousands of husbands hear that they can go to my shop on Amazon and it's just full of all kind of Nintendo goodies like Nintendo mugs and books and everything. You're going to hear just one giant sigh of irritation. Like, what are you doing? Don't go to this store. No, go to the store. n64josh.com/Nintendo shop. I'm putting the coolest stuff in there. It's also a resource because I know a lot of people are going to be getting Switches for the first time. They're going to be getting Switches for kids for the first time. So I have a list of best kids games, must-own Switch games. These are questions I get asked all the time. So I created this shop, and right now there's also Black Friday deals going on there. So go and check
you're listening
that
right
out.
Now, GameStop already has the Mario Kart bundle out, I think. So take advantage.
Yeah, so go check it out. Patuli just put it in chat there, but n64josh.com/Nintendo shop is where you can go. And what's cool about this store is if you go there and browse and then you go to another spot on Amazon and decide to order a watch or a coffee maker, I still get a small commission on that. It's whatever you purchase within 24 hours. So it's really a cool way to help support the show. So n64josh.com/Nintendo shop. I don't have any sound effects, guys, because I'll just be honest with you. My OBS completely died. And we have nothing.
Self-destructed.
Like, literally, as I was going live today, it's gone. It left us. So, no sound effects.
That gives Josh a chance to do a creative stream tomorrow and rebuild OBS on stream.
There you go.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm committing him to that. I think that's what we'll get to see.
Great.
We can do the sound effects. We got. Hey, listen.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
What? Okay, all right. Animal Crossing podcast going strong. New episodes getting recorded tomorrow. Those are coming out weekly now, so you can check them out wherever you listen to podcasts or watch them on YouTube. We just had our last Smash tournament, and it was exciting. It was a lot of fun, a lot of newcomers. We have the Smash Bros. League coming up, which get signed up for that in the Discord. Details are coming soon. I got to lay out a few more of the details.
We'll hammer out as I say, Josh and I will sit down this week, try to hammer out some details. I think we'll also find a time sometime this week to get a new episode recorded of the Smash Bros. Cast, so look for that.
Probably Thursday.
Wherever you listen.
Probably Thursday on Thanksgiving. We'll do it.
There's nothing going on.
Yeah, not really. But yeah, there'll be a new episode coming out. Mario Kart's happening Mondays and Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're getting a lot of new faces showing up for that. It's for all skill levels, right? Like we sweat a little bit, but I mean, Crawler's the perfect example of just jumping in and just sticking with it. And now he wins a lot, right? Remember when he started, where our record was like, what? Like,
yeah, I had to claw my way back into a winning record against you. Yeah,
yeah. It was it was crazy. So come hang out. It's a good time. It's a good time. You get mad at everybody in chat, because it's Mario Kart. Relationships are ruined. I mean, it's the best thing ever.
Netcode is nobody understands it.
Yeah, exactly. We don't understand the netcode whatsoever. So I've also got more YouTube content coming out. YouTube.com/N64Josh. I've got Smash gameplay with no commentary, Mario Kart with no commentary, but I'm also doing more previews, more reviews. I'm going to be actually covering a lot of Mario Kart, and I'm not just doing 8 Deluxe. I'm going to start doing stuff for Mario Kart 9 and trying to talk about the things that we want, and I'm going to scour the web for any kind of rumors or anything like that and just start really, really creating some content around Mario Kart. So stay tuned for that. We're still working on the Pokemon competitive guide, and I also want to try to get a Pokemon League, but again, I'm going to need people to step up for that and help me out. And then this Saturday. Yeah, this Saturday is the last Saturday of the month. We're doing the island tours on Animal Crossing. So if you want your island to be toured, there will be a sign-up sheet. I'll get a sign-up sheet in the Discord this week, and that's n64josh.com/Discord. It's all done. It's all done. I hope you guys will have an amazing Thanksgiving. Honestly, I have a feeling a lot of Animal Crossing and online games are going to be taking place as people aren't getting to see family. So,
and Zoom is unlimited that day, so take advantage.
There you go. There you go. So, Crawler's going to go first on what he's been playing. Then I'm going to go. And then Eric is actually going to transition us into our main talking point because we're going to start talking about the PlayStation 5. And it's going to be a little bit different show tonight. We have some specific Nintendo games that we're going to discuss, but we're also going to talk about next gen or Gen 5, I guess is what it's being called, and talk about kind of where we see Nintendo fitting in with this and what they might need to do. So it's going to be a good conversation. So, Crawler, what you been playing?
So I picked up Age of Calamity on Friday. I tried to go to Walmart and get it, but Walmart doesn't want my money because they get their stock in on Sundays now instead of Fridays for new games. So I went across the street and I got it at GameStop. So I have Age of Calamity. I've been playing it. My save file picked right up from the demo. It was quick and easy. I think it just asks you right as soon as you load in the game. And I've put together the champions. So all 4 champions are together in my party. So you can kind of select who you want to play as. And there's a whole bunch of different side missions and other collectible quests to unlock different vendors to be able to buy stuff. And you can cook food to get boosts in the fights and all that kind of stuff. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a different take on a Muso game. I don't think it's gotten overly complicated. There's different points that you have to hit on the map, but I felt like in Hyrule Warriors there was more, and maybe this will come a little bit later, I felt like there was more time constraints where you had to manage different characters and send them out to different points of interest to be ready to fight at a moment's notice, and you had to do stuff in succession. This has been a little more, I guess, dumbed down just a little bit. It's been easy enough that it's just clear out these camps or go take out these specific enemies to lead you to another enemy, and everyone has different kind of special ability, and then they have ultimates that you lead up to that do different things. Urbosa is really fun to play as. She has kind of her special ability is lightning. Obviously with having played Breath of the Wild, that's kind of her special ability that you get as Link. But you get to charge up her sword, and then she directs the lightning at a bunch of enemies, so you can zap them all at one point. Impa is super fun to play as. She absorbs enemies power and multiplies herself, and you can have up to 7 Impas running around, and you just deal a ton of damage. And her ultimate gets boosted, I think, by the more clones of yourself you have, because all the clones come together and stack TNT barrels together, and I think you do more damage if you have more impas on the field. So it's been fun to play as. My kids have enjoyed watching it. So it's just been, and the stasis and bombs and all that kind of stuff, and then the wizard elemental attacks that you can have as well, that everything just replenishes. So if you kill a electric wizard, you replenish the uses on your electric wand. So it all just kind of feeds in, and that's just based on the bumpers. It's really intuitive controls and easy to do, and yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it, and that's been the main thing I've been playing this week.
Did you have any frame rate issues?
Not yet. I've played only docked.
Yeah, same. But I had no issues yet, which that was the big.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I know that was like, I think there was like Game Explain videos saying that it dropped down to 10 frames or something, and I'm like, the moment I saw that, I'm like, it's a day one patch. That's it's more than likely gonna take care of it. And and
there was a download right off the beginning. So yeah. I mean, so obviously that probably cleaned up a lot of things. Load times are fairly quick. They do a fairly good job. At least there's side missions that take a little bit of time to load. Mainly because there is no like story to buffer it. Like there's a little bit of voiceover and story on what you're doing going into like the main longer missions, and those can take up to like a half hour, 40 minutes sometimes, depending on what you're doing. But then there's also these quick timed training missions and other kinds of things just to work on your skills and kind of teach you the game, that are kind of fun. They're like clear out 500 enemies in less than 5 minutes or something like that, or 3 minutes, and it's kind of fun to go through and do that. And the different like captain bosses that you face, they have different things that you could do to break their attacks with the Sheikah slate. So you have the ice and the stasis and the bombs and what's the fourth one?
The stasis bombs
magnesis, yeah. So like if an enemy has a metal weapon and they go to swing it over their head, you can activate magnesis and rip it out of their hands, and then they don't have it anymore, and it's fun.
Well, and you can like spin with that weapon and like smack a bunch of people with it as well.
And yeah, and all of the like the captain style bosses have like a shield, and once you get them broken, then you can do like a weak damage attack, and that usually can wipe it out. And so I feel like there's more. It's not just there is mindless like button mashing, but there's a sense of combos that you can get, because there's different. You kind of find a rhythm to some of the combos that you get, and there's certain ways that you don't want to just knock back the enemies. You actually want to complete a combo to be able to wipe them, especially in those timed missions. You want to sweep them up in the air, do a bunch of damage in the air, and then finish with like a final attack down on the ground to make sure you wipe them all out in one fell swoop, and you're not just pushing enemies away to then have to go around and try to collect them back up. And so there's a little bit of kind of preparation and planning to how you kind of attack it. So I just been, it's been a good time. And then other than that, I've been playing a little bit of Call of Duty and Miles Morales, and I tried out the Ninja speedrun. I didn't put a lot of time into it, but as much as Josh has been putting in, but it's trying to get a decent time is not, it's a fairly hard course to run. So props to Josh for, I think, what did you get, 23 seconds or something like that?
Yeah, I'm at 23 right now. I need to put more time into it. I really want to try to hit top 35, but I mean, it's going to be a feat.
Is it sub 19 yet, or is it?
I haven't.
Is it like
I didn't get to play it yesterday or today, so I'm not sure. But Saturday it was still at 20. So
okay.
The day that it's going to be, the day that that it ends, that's when it's going to like really ramp up. And I mean, we'll probably end up seeing somebody hit like 18 seconds or something crazy. They'll come up with a whole new run, and it's just, it'll be wild. But so, well, I want to dive in a little bit more about Hyrule Warriors. Like I picked it up. I didn't start playing until Saturday. I kind of was like, if I wait a day, maybe on stream, that gives people a chance to get a little bit ahead of me. And so I played for a bit. I got all, I did the first like, cause I transferred my save over. That's the other thing I did on Friday. I ended up just jumping back in, cause I got it later in the afternoon. I ended up jumping back in and completing everything in the demo. And I think I was almost 2 hours of time in just the demo. And the more time I spent with the demo, the more I was enjoying the game. And I really like the side mission things that they have you doing, like collecting certain items so that you can then unlock and kind of level up your characters. It's not so involved that you're like, I'm confused by this. It's very like rudimentary, but also it makes it very fun. I don't know. I'm kind of like, oh, I want to complete this and I want to do this. And
I don't know if you've gotten there yet, but there is a thing to go unlock at the lab or whatever that activates something on your Sheikah slate that you can press X
2 at a
on,
time,
like, a mission. Yeah.
So
you can track where the things are that you need to collect to go get it. It kind of just takes the guesswork out of it, so you don't have to go around to each of the different missions.
For some reason, as simplistic as the game is, as far as just taking out like all these mobs and then taking out the bosses, it mixes things up, because the boss you're dodging, and they have some of those cool mechanics that, like, you know, like Arkham Knight had, or I think there was even some parrying in like Assassin's Creed. And I haven't even really messed with the parries. I've usually been doing the dodge.
I don't parry. I just try to do the dodge so I can get the
flurry strike or whatever.
Flurry strike. Yep.
Yeah.
Just like from Breath of the Wild.
Right.
They took so many cool elements from Breath of the Wild and were able to put it in, which the old Hyrule Warriors didn't have, and neither did Fire Emblem Warriors. So this has definitely been a good iteration on a genre that's been around, that I think they've made it more engaging. And I think they've probably expanded people's interest in the genre a little bit more by having this game not be necessarily so mindless, but it does have kind of the skill, a little bit more skill input into it, especially in the boss fights.
And there's so much, I'm so drawn into it because of the story. They've created this amazing cast of young characters from Breath of the Wild. It's like, I don't know. I can't think of many games that I've seen this happen before, where it's like you're going back and all of a sudden it's like these characters that were kind of frail and didn't do all that much in Breath of the Wild now are a main factor. And like, I don't want to spoil anything, but like, you get to do some crazy stuff with the divine beasts. Like, I won't go into too much detail, but like, just as it mixes up the gameplay. You're not just hacking and slashing all the time. All of a sudden, there's something entirely different going on. And if anybody has played the Fall of Cybertron, where you get to play as Bruticus when all of the Combaticons come together, it was very similar to that. And I was like, I am loving this. I'm loving it. So I like the game far more than I would. I thought it was going to be a game that I would tolerate to get through the story, but I'm enjoying the missions as well. And I feel like they've done enough with that style of game to make it engaging, and also at the same time, it's just kind of relaxing. And I feel like it's a game you don't have to really lean forward to play. You can kind of sit back, relax, easy to talk to chat and get the story. So, so after all that, Eric, where are you at now with Hyrule Warriors?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna wait, a couple weeks to see where you're at with it in a couple weeks, because I still fear the biggest thing with that game is I'll get burnt out real quick. The Zelda lore is the main hook for me, and probably a lot of people, right? Like that Breath of the Wild world that Nintendo created, I would love to spend more time in it. So that's engaging, and that's interesting to me, to where I'm like, man, this could be something I play. But just watching like videos and the combat, it just doesn't look like something I'm gonna have fun with for a long time. That's my biggest concern.
Yeah,
I'm almost wondering, like, this was a third party, a second party team or whatever that was brought in to do this.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they didn't get to have meetings with the writers and creators of Breath of the Wild 2, and maybe there might be some tie-ins for whatever we're going to be seeing coming out in Breath of the Wild 2 next year.
Yeah, I feel like they
that would be one
probably
of the
got the
coolest
inside
things.
scoop, right? Like they and that makes total sense, like for it to kind of tie in, even though it's a prequel and not a sequel. I think this is canon, and it's going to be reflected as such in the story moving forward.
And the story was so vague and just like a few cutscenes in Breath of the Wild that you get to see a little bit more.
Well, and what was the deal with Link? Was he asleep for 100 years?
He gets put to sleep. Yeah, he
was in cryo sleep or some Zelda version of that.
Because I'm trying to. It's been a while since I played, but yeah, it's something like the something with the Sheikah slate, and I think like Impa helped put him into a suspended state so he could help fight the darkness later or something like that.
Got it.
I don't know if it was Impa or not, or maybe it was the Koroks, or I don't know. But
they finally had a use. I remember the first one I found in Hyrule Warriors, I was like, oh no, how many of them are there?
Well, and then it this was back when I was playing the demo, but like the first time you find a Korok, it says something like it has a weird smell.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just kind of poking fun. So the other games, as far as the stuff I've been playing, I tested Mario Sunshine with the GameCube adapter, and the analog triggers do work. I have a video up on YouTube going over it. The analog triggers do not work with the 8-bit DOE G-Bros. I had a handful of people commenting, wondering about that. It still registers the same as a USB controller, the way the GameCube, just on the main menu. But Lightcrawler was saying, when you hook up the GameCube controller to the adapter in Smash, you get all the GameCube buttons. It tells you like you're hitting B.
No, it treats it like a pro. It treats it like a pro controller. Because if you do a button swap,
with the regular adapter, with like the Nintendo adapter.
With the regular adapter, it
registers
the Nintendo
everything.
Adapter, it registers as a GameCube controller.
Yeah.
But with the G-Bros, it thinks it's like another pro controller. So when you try to do like a button swap, it doesn't swap X and Y correctly because of their location. So it's weird.
Yeah, and so there may be some things I can get into and do the custom button mapping that might engage the analog, but I'm thinking not. I'm thinking it's there could be an update, a firmware update for the G-Bros, but as of right now, if you want to play Sunshine with a GameCube controller, I need that maybe somebody. I don't know if anybody's tested like the Power A GameCube controllers and stuff. I don't know if they have. I'm guessing they don't. I don't know why they would put analog into those things. So your best bet. I do have adapters in my shop. They're not the Nintendo first party one because those are hard to find. They're hard to find. But they should do the job. And then you can get aftermarket GameCube controllers that will have the analog buttons and stuff like that. But I did see the Smash controller, I think, was around between 35 and 50, which wasn't too bad. So,
and I would think whatever's in your shop is probably okay. But the one I would trust the most if you're looking for a GameCube adapter is the one from Panda Global, which also functions as like a Switch dock as well. It's a little bit more expensive, but it does have. I think it's been pretty extensively tested to make sure that it doesn't brick a Switch or I've seen some GameCube controllers like eat the ports, like eat your GameCube plug-in, so they can be not great.
Got it. So tested that out, played a little bit of it. I have a 24-hour stream coming up. If you guys jump into Twitch, you earn currency, and then you can spend that currency to put towards. We're trying to get 1 million Mario coins, and I'm gonna do a 24-hour Mario stream. So we're like, I think we're like a third of the way there so far. So, and the way you can earn those coins and help support me, like help me grow as a streamer, is just open up a tab on your computer. Even if you're not like able to watch and chat, if you have your computer open and the volume either set to 1 or you just mute your tab instead of the Twitch itself, it counts as a viewer. So, and then we can get to that because I can see right now like Steel Sand is like at 32,000 towards the stream. Patooly's at 54,000. Hate just did 4,000. So
I say get it close. I have 172,000, so I'll put them all in.
you can only do so much each stream. It doesn't allow you to go. Yeah, there's like a limit.
I can't just dump it all.
No, they won't. It won't let you happen. It won't let it happen. So, but yeah. So checked out. Of course, was playing Smash. Of course, been playing Mario Kart. I completed my Pokedex and Pokemon Sword. And I've been doing a lot of Mario Maker 2, did a little Mario 35. I wanted to play that this weekend and I forgot to. It was like, they changed up the time. It was like only 20 seconds is what you started with. And so I wanted to jump into that and I didn't get a chance to. But the other game that I've been investing some time in, and it made me think of Eric, is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered on the Switch. And I have to tell you guys, I have 2 videos up on YouTube right now, just a regular gameplay and then like kind of my review in progress impressions video. And I'm thoroughly enjoying this game. And there are features in this game that I hope that get incorporated into Mario Kart, honestly, like where you can see other people's times when you're like, I could see, Eric Crawler, I could see what your guys' times were when you completed this mission or this race. So I'm not only racing against the computer, but now I'm racing against your time as well. And it's cross-play, like so you can play with anybody on any system right
How does it look?
Surprisingly good. Like the textures, of course, right? We've all seen that, like they've got to be dumbed down. But the car models, the lighting effects, even some of the particle effects.
I say, is there water and puddles and stuff?
Oh yeah, rain. Like your headlights have to be on when it's dark, or you can't see the track. I found that out the hard way when my daughter was racing it yesterday, and she even came in. I recorded footage today for the second video because I had comments of people saying like, "What do you think? What do you think?" And so I got done with the footage, and she was like, "Can I see the game? Can I borrow the game?" Right. So
does the game live on the cart, or is there a supplemental download to it?
As far as I know, it lives on the cart.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean there was an update, so I don't know how big that was, but so here's the thing. Looks good, plays good. I think it's running 60 frames a second, honestly. Like you're schmoving. Like it's going, right? So the cars feel heavy. The sound is good. The soundtrack is good. I'm scared to stream it on Twitch because I'm afraid of the DMCA, honestly.
Do they have a stream mode or whatever? I know some of the EA games started doing that.
I think the first one to come out is going to be Cyberpunk with that, is what I saw. Mm-hmm. Is there other stuff that you've seen on EA having
some
that?
Of the EA or yes, like the
sports games? I think you can turn off the music.
Yeah, I maybe I'm wrong, but I think the Burnout one had you could put it in like copyright mode, and it would just be the Burnout, Criterion created music or whatever, not copyrighted.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure on that, but
because you can't play Tony Hawk on stream or anything, probably. Yeah.
Not right now. I wouldn't. Yeah. That's scary. The thing that I'm honestly the most bothered by playing Need for Speed is the Pro Controller.
No analog sticks.
No analog triggers. Like when you play Forza, right? And you hit that gas and you can feel that rumble in the controller and in the trigger. And
you can feather it. The ABS rumbles in the brakes when you hit them too hard.
Exactly. Yeah. There's some immersion there, but there's not only immersion. It's like they've done a really good. I believe the team that put this game together for the Switch did a really good job of making it control well. But I was seriously missing that. And now with the haptic feedback triggers or whatever that are on the PlayStation 5,
we'll talk about that.
We're kind of transitioning into that, but I'm kind of curious if Nintendo isn't going to have to come out with some kind of better Pro controller. But the problem is, as I was thinking about it, if they do analog triggers, what is it going to do handheld? They're not gonna. So the hybrid system of it being handheld is also limiting it in its ability to play docked.
They need a Joy-Con reconstruct anyway because of stick drift. So they could afford to do a Joy-Con rebrand and put it back out there.
Yeah. So
but, I mean, the good thing is that hopefully that technology, I'm sure it's proprietary a little bit, but it's also developed by a company that Nintendo used for HD Rumble. So who knows how much of that technology is up for
the haptic
share.
part, not the adaptive triggers.
Okay.
Just they use the
rumble.
same HD rumble or haptic rumble that is in the Joy-Cons.
So as we are transitioning now into a new generation with the PS5, Eric, you've been playing is it called Astro Room, right?
Astro's Playroom.
Yeah. So like
I've been playing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So like kind of just give us the lowdown. What do you think?
So PS5, I was lucky enough to get one, and right off the gate, the system comes pre-installed with Astro's Playroom. You can delete it if you wanted to, but you shouldn't. It comes pre-installed, so you set up your downloads or installs for whatever games you're going to play, and you kick off this bad boy. I actually platinumed that game because I enjoyed it so thoroughly. It kind of starts off as a tech demo to show you the controller and all the capabilities of the controller, but then it really just turns into a fun little charming platformer. And it doesn't have the Nintendo charm, but it has something I didn't know existed, which is the PlayStation charm. This game goes through the entire history of PlayStation.
Love that.
Like the entire game, you're just collecting artifacts of the original PlayStation stuff, PSP peripherals I didn't know existed. Like there's a PSP GPS attachment. I don't know what on earth that was for, but so yeah, you go through and you kind of learn the controllers. So I guess we'll start with the controller. The HD Rumble, I think the haptic Rumble, we're all kind of familiar with at this point. Except I feel like it's really well done in the PS5 controller, the DualSense. It's very strong. Feels stronger. Maybe feels more akin to the Joy-Cons than it does the Pro controller. I feel like the Joy-Cons HD Rumble is stronger than the Pro controller, at least my perception of it is.
I would agree. When you play games like 1-2 Switch, you experience marbles inside the controller. It's like, okay, that's pretty crazy.
So you do exactly that in this game, not with marbles, but when you're rolling over surfaces and part of the game, you can tell what the surface is just by the feel of the rumble.
Okay.
So like it's very precise, very good. The adaptive triggers, I can't believe it took till 2020 for someone to figure this out. I did not think this. I thought it was going to be hype. The only frame of reference I had was the Xbox One Rumble triggers, which had been pretty cool. This is nothing like that. So I'm just thinking, like, ABS and Gran Turismo, the controller actually fights back against your finger. So in Astro's Playroom, you get a bow and arrow at one point, and when you pull the bow back, there's tension on the trigger, and you can feel the tension, and it's rumbling while you're getting that tension. It also uses the Zelda aim mechanic for the bow, which fine tunes the aiming a little bit. So it's not gimmicky, and it is just that little extra layer of immersion. So like in Call of Duty, I already hated using LMGs, but now when you try to aim down the sights with the LMGs, that trigger is really hard to pull. Like it is heavy. I imagine if I played that game for like a 12-hour play session, my fingers would be tired.
So the ADS trigger is heavy? Because the gun is heavy?
Because the gun is heavy. And then this is just like, it pulses when you're shooting. So like you're shooting a machine gun.
Is it to the point, like, because I know like in like paintball, right? You can get to where the trigger will pop back. Like, can you start getting stuff to go like auto, like a bump stock almost or whatever, like.
So if you're doing like full auto like that, it will kick back. But if you're just holding it down, your finger will end up pulling it back down. So
I've already heard competitive COD players are just turning it off.
Yeah, I would imagine it would slow you down enough in a Call of Duty that you would want to turn it off. I like the immersion. For single player, I won't turn it off. But like I was playing zombies and I left it on because it doesn't bother me. But yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with pro players and fractions of a second matter, yeah, using a heavy gun and having to ADS and that little extra squeeze, yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, the gun's already slow in game to ADS, so you want to not slow yourself down anymore.
But see, those pro gamers are missing out on the fun of gaming. They're doing it all wrong. because this is remarkable. So like in NBA 2K, when your player starts getting tired, so the right trigger is your speed boost in that game. When your player starts to get tired, that speed boost is harder to pull down. So you can actually feel the fatigue instead of just seeing it on the screen.
So this controller and the games are having, because NBA 2K doesn't have a new game out yet. This is from the PS4 version.
It's the PS5 version. So
there is a PS5. Okay.
They made a next gen version. So it's still NBA 2K21. Madden's doing the same. Theirs should be out next month, I believe. And surprisingly, if you buy Madden current gen, you get a free upgrade. And it's not just like a small port, like it's a new engine and it's a big deal. I'm just surprised that EA is doing a free upgrade.
It's not the first time they had I remember last gen when 360 to Xbox One. I don't know if it was just GameStop, because that's where I bought Madden because of this. I don't know if they had a deal with EA or just because they were GameStop. They had a significant buyback, a lot higher, like cost effective buyback for Madden to upgrade to the next gen version. So I did that when I bought it on 360 and then got it on Xbox One.
Yeah, and so I think so far I've seen it used the only so Attica Chuck in the chat says it sounds cool, but it might get annoying over time. I agree if the use is not done well. So like Miles Morales, for example, it's very subtle. It just gives you a little bit of tension when you're web slinging, and it feels really nice. That will never annoy me. Doesn't bother me at all. The only game I think that went a little too far is Call of Duty, and I still think it's cool, and it's kind of their first attempt at it, so they're kind of showing it off more than anything, I would say. But you definitely notice it a lot, where in a lot of the other games it's just an added immersion. Like I can't wait to play Gran Turismo with it, because you're going to be able to feel the ABS, when you're trying to brake around a corner or whatever the case is. It's going to fight back just like a brake pedal would, and I love the idea of that.
And that's where I was at playing Need for Speed today. I was like, I feel like this really, I mean, it really made the Switch feel dated, honestly.
Yeah.
Like even compared to the Xbox One, just with the rumble in the triggers, like, and it made me think about this DualSense controller, and just like, at first I was like, I don't really care. But even before hearing you talk about it, I was like, it's kind of the natural evolution of where we're going. Like, the motion controls that Nintendo incorporated into the Pro Controller for Splatoon, like, I appreciate that. It makes you more accurate. It take a little getting used to, but.
And now that's. I mean, PlayStation kind of had Syaxis in. What was that? PlayStation? Was that PlayStation 3?
Yeah. That had it.
That was it was horrible, but it was there. And Nintendo kind of iterated on that more with better motion sensing in a controller. Not necessarily Wii, but I mean, it led Nintendo down that path. because that was about the same time frame. But then you get PlayStation had it a little bit in the 4, I think, right? Or is it just
it was in there?
Or was just the touchpad? Or was there Sci-Axis? Is
there was both, yeah, because you could actually use
there's a gyro. There's gyro. Oh, I remember because I was Uncharted. You had to balance on the log or whatever as you were crossing chasms.
And you could use. I actually preferred typing with the gyroscopic aiming because it was actually precise enough that when the keyboard was up, it would hover over the icons.
Typing on a controller sucks.
It sucks. It's terrible. But that actually worked pretty well. So that's what I used it mainly on the PS4.
But I feel like it phased out on PlayStation. So I hope. I mean, I wonder. What I'm hearing when I listen to people that have both the new consoles is PlayStation 4 OS seems a little sluggish in comparison to the Xbox, which is understandable based on the power under the hood.
PlayStation 5.
I hope Microsoft knows how to make a OS.
Yeah, like the Xbox is a lot faster to like the console is on before the auto on over across HDMI turns on your TV. Like the console is already up and booted. So like it's on before your TV turns on.
That's
and then
true of the PS5 as well.
Okay.
But I'm from rest mode. I don't know. I haven't done a cold boot in a while, so I can't say from a cold boot.
And I'm surprised you're keeping your PlayStation in rest.
I don't buy into the hype. Here's my thoughts with that. I bought a console to do what it's supposed to do, and if I can't do those things, I want to know now so I can get it replaced rather than wait.
Yeah, and break it in the first year so you can get it. Yeah.
Right now, there's not a ton of games. I'm not in the middle of The Last of Us 3 or something. So I've had mine in rest day one and had no issues.
And what's your internal memory sitting at right now?
I think I only have 30 gigs remaining or something. I did download a couple games I don't need to though, so
that's the problem with it though. Like, but do you have some PlayStation 4 games downloaded?
Yeah, I do. So
you just need to get the 3.0 2 terabyte external and just store them on there.
I'm not doing that because the SSD is fast enough that those microseconds make up a lot of many small times make big time.
Yeah, but if you want those PlayStation 4 games to play, you got to keep them somewhere else. I think Sony said they're working on something for cold storage, so you can have like a 2 terabyte external plugged in. It'll find a better way to move it back and forth between the SSD and the.
I downloaded all of Call of Duty in under 30 minutes, and that was like 120 gigs or something. The SSD's read-write speeds are so crazy that I'm not worried about having to delete. Data caps might be an issue, but it's only $11 for me to switch to unlimited, so that's what I'm doing. Deleting games when I'm done playing with them and re-downloading them is so fast now that I no longer care.
And the console. I think both consoles are better at read-write install while you're playing now, because don't they have like a play the play to start time is a lot faster than it was in previous gen.
Yeah. And so I guess a couple other things I'll touch on. I mean, there's a lot we could talk about with the PS5. I love it. The console's huge, almost annoyingly so. I think it looks dramatically better standing up than it does laying down. It looks really weird to me laying down, but I don't have room to do anything else.
It's symmetrical laying down.
Yeah.
It's popped its colors when it's standing up, It
looks cool standing up, right? But it doesn't look so cool laying down, but it is what it is.
A lot of people are taking off the wings and getting them custom painted.
I'm thinking about it might be a better idea to take them off, period.
I saw somebody sitting in the big old fan port is just sitting there
wide open, and it's not going to help with cooling at all. So having those on there and painting them certainly not going to help either. So so far that hasn't been an issue though. So a prime example of things I didn't really consider. So I've seen the YouTube videos of ray tracing on, ray tracing off, Watch Dogs this, Watch Dogs that. I've seen all this stuff. So I'm playing Miles Morales, and I'm going between 60 frames mode and the high fidelity ray tracing mode. And I don't know which one I like better because the 60 frames is so smooth and pretty. But then you turn on the ray tracing and you don't really notice it when you're zipping around, except for it just adds a little bit of immersion because everything has accurate reflections, like incredibly accurate reflections. Call of Duty uses ray tracing not for reflections, but for shadows. So the shadows all fall incredibly naturally, and when you turn it off, the shadows are no longer natural, and it becomes very obvious. So it's something I didn't know I cared about because I mean YouTube with the compression and everything, it already you kind of lose some of that. Plus, you're looking at it either on mobile or not the screen you're going to game on necessarily.
Yeah, it's already compressed, and then you're seeing it at whatever the max output
Right.
your video device can put output. So
yeah. So the ray tracing, though, I think I look forward to seeing what people can do with that down the road. And games like Miles Morales today, it's either ray tracing on or 60 frames. But I'm guessing, 2 years from now, games like that, they'll be able to get those up to 60 frames with ray tracing, as they get better at working those.
My biggest barometer for that kind of stuff is look at what the developers at 343 were able to do with Halo 4 at the end of the 360's life cycle. The game and the cutscene, the cutscenes especially, looked amazing on a 360. So
well,
I think
even Gears of War was pretty, like, it was like you were playing a cinematic adventure, like the
as console lives progress, the developers get so much better with it.
I mean, look at, for PS4, The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, like those are, the final farewell to that console generation. And if you told me those were next gen games, I'd believe you.
Well, and Sucker Punch even slowed down loading times so that people would read the hints. Like they added time in between your load screens so you read stuff, because the game they optimized the game so much that it could load that much faster.
So I've been go ahead, Josh.
No, go ahead and finish your thought, because I'm gonna pivot us a little bit after you're done.
Okay. So I've loaded a couple PS4 games to test those, and of course they play better. So like The Last of Us 2 hasn't been optimized for PS5 yet. But even without any optimizations, it's playing basically at PS4 Pro settings. A little bit faster load times, a little bit smoother. But the last piece I'll say about the PS5 that really impresses me, and I think this is more important than anyone seems to be talking about, is their Tempest 3D audio engine. So they chose not to go with Dolby Atmos. They chose to build their own, and it's all being done within the console. The 3D audio I'm using the Pulse 3D headphones, but theoretically you could use any headphones you want. The 3D audio is crazy for immersion. Like if you close your eyes and spin your character around, you can pinpoint where stuff is in a room. So I was playing Miles Morales, and you can audibly visualize where the record player is, where his mom's talking to him from, like everything. The spatial audio is so good now. I think I'm maybe more excited about that than anything, honestly.
Interesting. You made a statement before we started recording that you feel like you've stepped into the future and you don't know if you can turn back. And so what has brought that statement about? And I mean, I'll be honest, even here, like I haven't had that big of a desire to get either of these next consoles.
I feel you.
I barely touch my Xbox. I want to play it more. I've been jonesing to play through the Fallen Order, right? Like, and so
you need to do that.
Yeah, and so I'm glad it's there, right? But like hearing you talk about it again, just playing Need for Speed for me today, I was like, that, like, I do, especially since there's no Halo right now, I do feel more of a draw towards checking out a PS5. But like, I mean, that statement of like, you don't know if you're coming back, like there was some you were implying some like, yeah, I'll still play my Switch some, but like it elaborate a little bit.
It's definitely in the back seat now. It's no longer a passenger. No, so I guess it's a lot of little things. All of the things I've listed, like the controller is more comfortable than the DualShock 4. They made it a little bit bigger. It fits my hand better. I really like the way it feels.
I will say Sony has gotten better over time, because I hated PlayStation. The PlayStation 3 controller was horrible. Touching a PlayStation 4 controller like in the store before I bought a PlayStation 4 made me confident that Sony was getting better. But like the controller on PS5 is the selling point to me, because I know that the Xbox is the faster, better, more powerful machine. But like, from what I've heard, it's like it's a toss up whether or not you want to play it on Xbox or PlayStation. But it's like the controller leans people one way, but then the load times and the graphics lead people another direction for Xbox. So it's kind of, it's a double-edged sword there. But like, I'm glad PlayStation has finally gotten better with their controllers a little bit.
It looks like the load times are kind of hit or miss depending on the game. It's not as simple as Xbox is always faster, because it's not. Like Assassin's Creed, I guess, loads faster on PS5 is what people are saying. I don't have it, so I can't verify, but I think there's a place in this world for both. You know what really turned me off for Xbox, and I'll get back to why I'm happy with PS5. But the thing that kind of sucked about the Xbox for me is no Halo, which that hurt. That definitely hurt. But the thing that bummed me out, and a lot of people like it, and I understand it, is they didn't make a new controller, and that bummed me out, because the new controller is such a huge part of a console generation for me. Like holding that new controller is part of.
They added a share button.
Yeah, a button I wouldn't use. Great. And so that's kind of like, that was both of those things. Once the controller stuff started to happen, I was like, okay, I'll still get it because of Halo. But then when Halo got dropped, it kind of sealed the deal for me. But to answer back to your question, Josh,
I have to stop you for just a second, because Miss Click just brought a massive amount of people over here. Yeah. What is up, everybody?
All the people.
Yeah, all the people. Make sure, if you're in here already, go follow Miss Click. We're recording our Nintendo Powercast right now, but we're so glad you guys are here. Thank you so much. Miss Click's been on this show before. We got to have her back. I hope you had an amazing raid. Welcome on in, everybody. I'm N64 Josh. So you got Crawler over here and Eric over here. Let's see. Eric's on the lower switch and Crawler's on the
down here.
on the watermelon switch. So, but welcome in, everybody. So glad you're here. We're currently talking about the PlayStation 5 and on a Nintendo show. So thank you for the gifted sub. I lost all of my OBS today, so I have no alerts. I had to build my scenes before we started this show. It's been one of those days, it's a Monday. Monday is a streamer.
It's definitely a Monday. A holiday Monday, no less.
Yeah, crazy. But we're just asking, Eric has the PlayStation 5 and he's been talking about the just the how it kind of made the Switch feel dated, I would say, right?
Yeah, so and I still think the Switch is the perfect complementary system to any console you have, right, or anything. But one of the things that the PS5 does, it's very fast, right? You load into a game, like I can go between Miles Morales and Astro or Sackboy or whatever in under 15 seconds, and I'm playing. That's great. That's a big jump over last gen. Something that also really impressed me that I didn't anticipate being interested in is, I think they call it the tiles or whatever. So like in Miles Morales, and I know this would be impressive for you, Josh, because you like the trophy hunting or the gamer score.
Mm-hmm.
You can click on a tile. It'll show you what the objective is to get the trophy, and it'll tell you exactly how long it should take you to get it.
Oh wow, that's kind of
And
cool.
not only does it do all that, when you click go, it'll launch you to that point in the game so you can just go do the thing.
That's nice. That's nice.
And
Especially when like you think of old achievements like Assassin's Creed where it was like find 900 flags and then go to this world and find 900 more and you're like what?
and so I imagine you're not going to be able to get that for like hidden trophies and stuff. Those are just going to stay hidden. But for like a lot of those fetch quests and stuff, it just kind of makes your life easier. And so overall I feel like they really improved the store is no longer an application you have to load to get into. It's built into the OS now.
That's cool.
So the store is blazing fast if you want to download something or buy something. So it's on top of the major big improvements, they just made small improvements to everything that needed improvements. You know, just the OS is a little bit snappier than it used to be. The party system is better than it used to be. So it's just they've improved upon everything, and the controller's phenomenal. The 3D audio is phenomenal. Remote play works right out the gate. You could do remote play right now.
I was to say you don't have a PlayStation 4, but yeah, you can play your, because I know my PlayStation 4 has a PS5 remote play, so you can, if I could, in theory, if I got my PlayStation 5, I could hook it up upstairs and play PlayStation 5 down here on my PlayStation 4.
Yeah, and you can do it on mobile. You can do it on a laptop. You can do it. I mean, there's a lot of options for remote play. It's not
it's not just to the other console,
right? Yeah, and so and on your phone you can remote play without a controller. You can do the controls on the phone. I can't imagine that
nobody
working.
wants to do that.
It might be fine for like a if Hearthstone came out for PS5 or something. Yeah, Peggle, something like that would be perfect. No. So yeah, that's kind of it. It's improved in every way, and it really feels like what direction consoles should be going into. So I'm very pleased. I have no complaints so far.
If you guys remember, when the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One came out, we were in the economy had just tanked, right? Like, and they extended the life cycle. I think, do you guys get that feeling like this current cycle was really short because the last one was so long, right? And
the 360 was 10 years. And the 360 was out a year before the PlayStation 3 was out.
Right.
And yeah, it got extended, and the only thing that really I would say extended a little bit. That was the first kind of cycle where we had the mid-cycle upgrade where we got the Slim, and I think PlayStation 3 was so fat at the beginning that they were inevitably going to cut the size down on that one, and that one got a speed and size cut down as well. But yeah, like the power didn't necessarily go up in those systems. They just got optimized a little bit better.
And part of the power from the 360 to the 1 and the 3 to the 4, it was dated tech. It was supposed to be out, but they were like, nobody's going to purchase this right now. Like the state of the economy and everything else, like you knew when those systems came out, they were already like dated a little bit, right? And I feel like with the Series X and the PlayStation 5 that they're as far as they can be to still be profitable, right? Like we understand that it's compared to a PC, I'm sure there's still, leaps and bounds, right? It's crazy at this point, but I feel like this addition of the controller, like we kind of mentioned, like it still makes console gaming very viable. I'm not interested in any kind of a console war. I don't care. I like the Xbox a lot. I love Gears of War. I love Halo. I love Rare. I still have high hopes for a Perfect Dark someday.
Well, Well, and there was comments. I saw comments recently from Bethesda / Microsoft that games are either going to be best, better, or like first on Xbox when it comes to Bethesda games and anything within that ZeniMax Media family. So we could be seeing timed exclusives or potentially better graphics or some kind of upscaling special something in the Xbox family for those games. So like it is kind of an exclusive hunt now, and I think that's what drives more people to PlayStation as of right now. And I think Microsoft is gonna they were almost late to the party because they have purchased 900
studios.
Yeah, a bunch. And we kind of know what's in the pipeline for those, but nobody has seen it. So the whole push for Xbox exclusives hasn't tickled anyone's fancy yet. And you kind of know what to expect from Sony with them now owning Insomniac Studios. So you get the Spider-Man and anything else that they've done, which they've done good things. That something that's underappreciated, which I haven't put enough time into, which is what is it on Xbox? It's the one with the mutants and the drinking of the soda and all that kind of stuff. I forget what it's called. Sunset Overdrive.
Oh, Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah. But then you also have God of War and Last of Us and all those Naughty Dog Studio games and the Horizon Zero Dawn sequels coming out here soon and all that kind of stuff. So people kind of know what to expect from PlayStation, whereas Xbox has all these stakes in the fire that you don't quite know what you're going to get yet. So people haven't really invested into wanting to have the Microsoft exclusives.
Yeah, and I think they will come out of the gate. Eventually they're gonna, if I don't know if there's even gonna be an E3 or however they do it, but I feel like as much as I don't like the term console or anything like that, I feel like Phil Spencer is hey, we're getting back into they adapted with the one, and they still they gave us the best value in gaming, right? With the Game Pass, right? They're moving forward with that and making that something very, very viable. And it was the best value as far as the amount of games, but they didn't have a lot of exclusives that people were interested in. Halo 5 kind of flopped for some people. Gears, it
did flop.
I don't think
the multiplayer is the only thing that shines in that game.
Yeah, and I don't even know where what the community is like with Gears anymore and how many people are really into it. It used to be kind of Gears was played as much as Call of Duty. At one time, so it feels like it's gone downhill. But they have, they're definitely setting themselves up to go toe to toe with Sony. And guess who wins in all of this? Especially if you have both consoles, we do, right? We're the ones that benefit from it. So that's why I'm
don't have both.
Sure.
The other one is forcing the competition to step up and vice versa, right? The Sony president, I forget his name, said, there's more to come with regards to Game Pass. So Sony's aware of it. I don't know what that means or what we're gonna see, but they know they have to tackle that problem somehow.
And I think the whole PlayStation 5 having the PlayStation 4 hits library free to download is a direct response to Game Pass. Sony knew they needed to give people something to play on their new system, and if you hadn't played Days Gone or Last of Us Remastered or any of those other games that are in that back catalog that are in the greatest hits Sony library, that's 20 games I think that's there for you to download if you want. I believe is exclusive just to PlayStation 5. I think if you claim them on your PlayStation 5, you can play them on your account on your PlayStation 4. So once you claim them with the said system, you can play them anywhere. But it's a great way for them to try to combat that response to Game Pass.
Yeah, and so there's there is no right answer here. We win no matter what. The competition is forcing their hands. I went PS5 strictly because right now the main things coming out on Xbox were not console exclusive, right? They were it's games I could play on PS5s.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of said, well, then I'm going to get the PS5 and I'll get the Xbox down the road, maybe a year or whatever. And what I do know is to be 10 years old right now, like what a time to be alive to be a young gamer and have, if you're one of the fortunate kids who has parents who love you enough to get you one of these consoles and you're doing school virtually, you have all the time in the world to just game. Like what a time to be alive.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's wild, And I mean, do you feel like now your Switch is going to be more handheld, more like is it going to become a DS for you in a way? Like,
honestly, probably more so than ever before. I would say, unless, obviously Breath of the Wild 2, that's going on the big screen and I'm playing that.
mm-hmm.
I'm not going to play that handheld. But yeah, I think the Switch now becomes that console where, when I've got some spare time and, on a break at work or whatever the case is, that's when I'm going to really get my Switch time in. I still definitely still love Nintendo, but man, the next gen is real.
Well,
it's real and it's exciting.
And when you think, I mean, it seems like what are the exclusive for Sony right now? Miles and
Miles is on PlayStation 4 as well. So that there's the only true PlayStation 5 exclusives are Demon Souls and Bugsnax, I think, is on Epic Game Store. It's on PC. Oh, it is on PlayStation 4. Okay.
Yeah, it's just free. I know
it was free on PlayStation 5. I claimed it, so when I get a PlayStation 5, I can have it.
I haven't even started it.
Demon Souls and Astro's Playroom, which is the tech demo preloaded. Is there any other actual? There might be.
When's Gran Turismo come out?
Godfall's an exclusive.
Godfall is exclusive.
I haven't picked that up.
But Godfall's on PC, so you can play it elsewhere. But it's console exclusive to PlayStation.
Got it.
And to answer your question, Josh, 5. Soon. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I was initially expecting it to maybe be a December title, but I feel like it'll probably be like a March title or something instead.
Gotcha.
Ratchet and Clank is launch window, so that could be 3 months.
That's probably going to be
I don't know what that is, but
I'm guessing that's going to be before Gran Turismo, and that's going to be a PS5 exclusive. It won't. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't play on PS4 because part of the what they're doing, the rifts between worlds. Ratchet and Clank looks cool, and that was kind of the game that sold me on PS5, just because it looks so amazing. But you're launching through universes with no load times.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't do that on the previous gen consoles without that SSD.
Yeah. No, it's exciting.
I'm almost worried that as Nintendo moves forward and the console generation has been thrust forward as it has, I'm worried we're kind of back into almost the Wii era where we don't see parity. And like I feel like Switch was struggling with parity anyway. But now it's even worse. And I think the solution is cloud gaming, which we've seen hit and miss and community not super stoked on. The internet infrastructure in this country is not ready for that as well. But I mean, there was at the beginning of the Switch, it was all bring everything to Switch. We want to see as many games because it's the novelty of playing it wherever. I play my Switch 95% of the time docked. I enjoy the ease of taking it with me if I go on vacation, and it's easy to set up. And I actually bought a travel router because of my Switch, and I'm able to set it up off of crappy hotel Wi-Fi and try to boost the signal a little bit better and have it be more consistent.
Yeah, you're not taking the PS5 with you anywhere.
Yeah,
One, it's huge, and it's 14 pounds, and it's
So, I
hauling
mean,
that thing around with you.
I enjoy that with my Switch, but like I feel like we're slowly, not slowly, it's faster now because like Doom Eternal is delayed and is now digital only coming to Switch. Josh has mentioned he's worried that it might be a cloud gaming solution. I don't know if it's going to be able to, like, who knows how big that file size is going to be when it is digital only. I think this is a response to not having to buy a larger cart and or have an extreme download on a 8 gig Nintendo cart. But yeah, we're moving further and further away from being able to play games you see advertised. Cyberpunk is not coming to Nintendo; it never will. That's going to be.
If you look at like the NBA 2K, Call of Duty, even if we took the Spider-Man remastered, because I picked up the bundle that had the Spider-Man remastered, so that on PS4 2018 title. That would have been tough to get on the Switch, right? Probably impossible without some very drastic
down-res.
Yeah.
Even so, less puddles.
Lots of puddles would have gotten cut.
Yeah, no puddles.
And so now on, because I did play that. I didn't finish it, so I'm excited to go back and finish it. But I did play that on PS4. Now to play that on PS5, the remastered, it's the definitive way to play this game. Like it's beautiful. It's got ray tracing. So I don't know how we could expect Nintendo to get any of these multi-platform titles now. You're not going to see Call of Duty. You probably won't even see like NBA 2Ks moving forward because those
2K's been just shredded in reviews on Switch. Like you don't they're not.
The first one that came out was totally playable. It was, it was still like, I think it was 2K17 or 18 was the first one on the Switch, and it was totally playable.
And EA's kind of shot themselves in the foot when it comes to FIFA and how poorly they've executed that.
Yeah, so it's, we might be at a point where you don't see that. So now you have to start seeing companies like Ubisoft or whoever, Capcom, name your company. They have to decide: am I going to make a multi-platform game, or am I going to make a Switch exclusive game?
Well, that's what Capcom's doing. I mean, Monster Hunter is what Monster Hunter Rise, I believe, is the name of it. That's exclusive, and
because the install base is still huge.
Exactly.
So there's definitely a reason to develop games for Switch still. It's not. I don't see the console dying. I just don't see us. We're not getting the next Battlefield, whatever that's going to be, right? Like it's not happening.
But if you remember, going back to Crawler's statement, like as far as Nintendo is concerned, if the Switch is following the Wii, they sold like
72 million of them.
Yeah, or like it was like, I thought it was into the 80s, 33 million copies of Mario Kart Wii. Right? Like they're just sitting back on their stacks of cash. Like they don't really care, And if Nintendo really wants to keep the Switch moving the way it is, all they need to do is ring up a third party and say like, "Hey, do you guys want Zelda? Hey, do you guys want Fire Emblem? Hey, do you guys want Mario? Right? And do you guys want Star Fox?" And then look what happens, right? This is our one of our main holiday games this year is Hyrule Warriors, and it's made by Koei Tecmo, right? So and Ubisoft knocked it out of the park with them, and then they've been putting Assassin's Creed games on as well, right? Like I just feel like they're still playing to the beat of their own drum, and if you want the next gen experience, but we've said this all along. If you want to play Call of Duty, you're going to get an Xbox or a PlayStation, right? Or you're going to play it on PC. Absolutely. And so, like, you've got Animal Crossing being nominated for Game of the Year against The Last of Us 2, right? Yeah. And I think that's just the beauty of Nintendo and like, hey, we're going to make this this kids game that everybody, including like Machete or whatever, he's like, check out my island, right? You're like, what? What? Like, it's wild. But there's just nothing that's just them. They're like, yeah, have Call of Duty. We'll have Animal Crossing.
Nintendo, I think, is sitting pretty confident that they probably have Game of the Year next year already signed, sealed, delivered. If Breath of the Wild 2 can come out anywhere as close to as awesome as Breath of the Wild 1 is. So
I don't know if developers care as much about getting Game of the Year as we do. Like, do you think they honestly care? I think their bottom line is X amount of sales, but
yeah, but the game has already paid for itself most of the time by that point, and you get a pretty sizable boost of people buying your game if they haven't bought it already.
Free press, right? But I think you get that press just being nominated, whether you win or not.
True.
I don't know if they care.
You get to reprint the box and put it on there. So
Game of the Year edition.
That's true.
Honestly, but they do that anyways.
They do that anyway, even if they don't.
Are there that were never Game of the Year? Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
One thing I want to say for the Switch, and I hope they do it. I know they won't, but I would love for the Switch to become the definitive way to play Xbox 360 titles and PS3 titles. I know the PS3 would be hard because of the cell processor, but can you imagine having some of those?
That's what this is.
Yeah.
That's
Can
what
you
this
imagine
is.
having all those old, Gen 3 games that we played and having those redone on Switch and having them on the go or wherever you want? Like, there's a lot of those games are beloved, from that console generation.
In my mind, there's no reason that Call of Duty Modern Warfare should not be on the Switch. I'm talking the fourth game, right? Like Call of Duty 4.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't that? Yeah. Why isn't it on the Switch?
I would take World at War too. Like, I would
exactly.
Honestly,
for some reason, to me, like first-person shooters on the Switch just feel sluggish. I don't know if it's the processor or I don't know. It just doesn't
have
feel
blast processing for you. It's been a long time, but Nintendo's always had this issue.
I mean, Overwatch feels okay, but like there are drawbacks to that. Nintendo seems to excel right now in having that third person perspective, and the two games or multiple games, I guess the only one that isn't third person that came to cloud gaming across both regions is Resident Evil is it Biohazard? Is that what it's called? Mm-hmm. That was a first person perspective, but like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Control, and then it's coming soon Hitman, are all third person perspective games that you don't need that fast response kind of ability to play it. So I mean, and we've seen very few first person shooters come to Switch and also excel. Overwatch being Overwatch does what it does. But yeah, I mean, we don't see very many games like that come to Switch.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a warning sound. I don't have music to play. I'm just going to say, Crawler, where can we find you?
You guys can find me hanging out in the Discord. That's the best spot. So n64josh.com/Discord. Also on the Smash Bros. Cast. So do we have a URL landing for that one? You can find it.
Just Smash Bros. Cast everywhere. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Wherever you listen to podcasts, we're going to get another one up sometime this week.
Yep.
And then occasionally on Twitch, wow. Nightcrawler724, Nightcrawlers without the E.
There you go. Eric, where can we find you?
You'll find me here. You'll find me on Discord, like Crawler said. I did want to do a quick, to the American listeners, I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. To our non-American listeners, I hope you're still coping. I want to give a little bit of positivity. I know it's tough with the holidays. Everyone misses their family. Everyone wants to be around. This is just a moment in time. When you look back at this is not going to be a big thing. I know it's a big deal today, but this is just a moment in time, and we will all get through it. I promise you. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Just stay positive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, you can follow me everywhere at N64Josh. And again, jump into the Discord. We'd love to have you. N64Josh.com/Discord. We're slowly coming up on episode 300. There's going to be some new music, some rebranding taking place when we hit episode 300. So we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We do hope you have an amazing Thanksgiving, and we will see you later. Bye now.